But then you basically have one of the greatest comebacks potentially of all time, right? Against BTG. And then you throw it away. You can't do that. Anyway, let's move on to game number 2. BTG chose Dragonshire here, which is a solid map. It's a solid pick. Once again, probably going to go to the late game here unless we see some heavy snowballing from either team.
Well then.
That is correct, Tetcher. How could we forget? Twitch chat was MVP. Because they probably saw all these throws and all these potential mistakes from a mile away. They're always MVP.
I mean, I'm seeing a whole lot of bit icons in there. So Twitch chat is MVP for supporting their friendly neighborhood HGC channel and supporting their favorite teams using the bit modes that they can use. A lot of that goes to the teams that they are supporting. So
nice.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go around, and money certainly also makes HGC go around. So keep supporting your favorite teams. They're going to be twice as thankful as we are, but we're still very thankful and very happy.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have bit emotes, but if it was to go to anyone who wasn't us, we would prefer the players. So let's do it. As we see Yrel being banned out.
All right, Yrel. Twice in a row she's banned against BTG, and I'm loving it. Although Locktar has shown us some really good play there, actually. I think Yrel is still his most comfortable hero, his most impactful hero, so taking that away from him is quite good.
There goes Diablo. Was very scary in the last game. Was that lightning breath was a big reason the fight was won.
That is correct.
There goes the Maiev, nice and standard there, but Genji went through. So it's Deckard is who is allowed through.
Deckard, there's a lot of heroes that they could choose now in Dragonshire. Even a Blaze wouldn't be outrageously unique here. The Haka just as good though. The global is always appreciated.
Dahaka on the board. Adds globals, like you said. Great rotations. With Yrel gone, it's one of the best heroes who could counter him, so it works pretty well here.
Decker, Kane, and Raynor. Best buddies for life, man. The slow provided by Decker Kane is so useful for the ace in the hole. The anti-healing basically counters most other supports, especially Alex Strasser, which China likes to run almost all the time here.
So, with Dahaka already on the board, Phoenix available, Karazim, and Hanzo again. It did some pretty decent damage, so I don't have any issue with that.
Yeah. And if you look at the body language right now, if you compare KT's expressions and Beyond the Game's expressions, you see a world of difference. Whereas Beyond the Game is still obviously, you know, in a cheerful mood. They have nothing to lose. They just came back from a miracle throw by their opponents. Look at KT. That's the second player now, TWT and Lotus we saw before, who look rather shaken and rather frustrated, and I can't really blame them.
Yes, a little bit rough, so I mean, it's gonna affect you, but what can they do from there? For now, with Muradin banned away, they've just got to refocus. We're already seeing Timeless's hero pool getting severely limited. Might have to see him on the Johanna. Garrosh's still available as well, though, so that's not so bad.
It's great. It's his most successful hero up to this point, yeah. I wouldn't even hate it.
Well, we'll see.
Now there's a warrior to be taken. Like, if Beyond the Game wanted to be really rude and really mean, they would pick the Johanna right now and deny that from Timeless. Of course, a Garrosh is still available, but I can't help but feel that whenever Timeless plays Garrosh, he tends to overestimate his own tankiness. So, I wouldn't really be a big fan of him picking it up.
A noob coming in here. Pre-Garrosh, pre-Johanna, pre-anything, just let's dive Hanzo and kill him.
All right. A lot of crowd control effects now. I can't...
Yeah.
I still would like to see an additional frontliner for Anubrak, because oftentimes when he's the only engager, he struggles from his lack of tankiness, from the lack of follow-ups, and only then, in my opinion, does Anubrak unfold his true potential. When there's follow-up CC, whether it's a slow, a root, or a stun, there goes the Johanna on Timeless, as predicted.
And now then, final pickup coming in here needs to be a solo laner. Someone who can mess with that the Haka, so Leoric immediately jumps to mind. But we're going to stick with Blaze. Nice and safe play as opposed to attempted lane domination.
That's really good. The Li Ming, of course, was picked as a response to that Anub'arak to pop those cocoons. Now, please don't take away from Force. We've seen that last week. I'm pretty sure that was a mistake or just a short blooper of somebody not paying attention.
You might be right. But for now, then, we are preparing for our second game. I really like the Anub. Once again, there's no peeling against it, but the question is who can follow up with the Anub. Phoenix can drop some pretty decent damage.
Yep.
Of course, we already know that Anubs, as you mentioned earlier, the Burrow Charge does slow people.
Yep, which is great for Raynor and the damage he provides. Blaze, of course, with the jet propulsion could keep people stun locked as well, which is always nice. So yeah, I'm pretty confident on the composition of BTG. Also, Anub'arak used to be one of 619's most highly valued warriors. I remember, I think it was last year, sometime during the middle of the year, when we had those highlight videos, you know, introducing the key players. And he had, for almost an entire year, a video of Anub'arak showing his skills and plays. So I wonder if he's still got what it takes to make the beetle work again.
We're about to find out as we are heading into game number 2. Can KT redeem themselves for the throw of the last series, or will BTG be able to shut it out and secure their lead at top of the table? Let's find out as we head to the Dragonshire.
To Dragonshire we go, ladies and gentlemen. On the left-hand side, we see Beyond the Game with 619, LLK, Druid, Dancing, and Lokta.
And on the right, KT with TWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bat.
All right, can KT stabilize after a crushing defeat in game number 1? Not necessarily because they got bodied, but because they gave it away when they had all the tools to make it to a victory. Now, we see Regeneration Master coming in for Anub'arak. Seems to be the go-to talent in many games these days because the magic armor either not valued or not as reliable anymore. So a lot of people just value the sustain and bonus HP.
Here comes the burning down of the minion wave very quickly. LLK pinging in some good damage onto Timeless, who is getting punished here. Already using Iron Skin. He is taken out. First blood achieved by BTG.
And what is the use of that? There's no reason to go for a full 5-man engage when you know that you don't have the greatest of supports, you know, to keep you alive. Karazim has 1 heal, the Breath of Heaven at level 1, and that's about it. So even in a prolonged skirmish in the middle that might look good for you at first glance, you just can't hope to outsustain your opponents and keep everybody alive. Kiaru taking a lot of damage. TWT, those are not efficient trades by any means. Already, healing fountains are going to have to be burned, and that is such a crippling factor for KT already.
BTG are putting on quite a lot of aggression at this early stage of the game. Timeless pulls back, eating a tiny bit of damage. But overall, the amount of rotations, the lanes have just been dynamic as opposed to static from BTG from minute 1. And they're using that to double Merc Camp at minute 1.
Yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, and that is the power of Anub'arak, right? You have to go for this hyper mobile ganking playstyle to really lock down those kills to put your opponents into sweating mode. Yeah. And as you said, super early mercenary camps, but they could afford to do that in the first place because they forced so many people of KT back, right? They had to use healing fountains, they had to teleport back to base, they even killed Johanna earlier on. So the rotations and the formation of KT had been broken utterly.
In this, they lost an entire minion wave. Top lane was cleaned out by Dehaka, so the minion wave scuppered onto towers before anyone arrived. But they still, with those double mercenaries, with those kills from earlier, hold a pretty solid half-level lead. And with that Mercamp in top lane, they've still been able to soak pretty much every other minion on the map. It's only those minions in top they've lost. That's how effective these rotations have been.
Yeah, and that's actually what I would do as well. I would probably send a couple of heroes. Yep, Anub'arak and Phoenix are rejoining the top lane here with the help of the mercenaries. They can basically take reduced damage from Li Ming, which also cripples her wave clear, by the way. Li Ming is not really the best wave clearing mage to begin with, but that anti-ability damage aura cripples her efforts even more. So they take 2 easy towers here, BTG that is. On the flip side, though, they're actually taking some damage themselves in the bottom.
Sneak forward, waiting for their opportunity to snipe on a target. They find Timeless again, but it's only LLK who just trades out some damage here.
Yep, the Dragon Knight not being taken yet, although 2 shrines had been under control of KT here. Let's see how much they can actually do to, you know, stabilize themselves here a little bit. We see Sin's exposed on Timeless. The body blocks prevent the value of the Iron Skin so far.
Good.
Root is good.
They can still chase down. A quick pickup by LLK. He can play a Dahaka. He can play a Zarya. He can play a main tank. LLK can play anything you throw at him, and right now he's playing KT.
Oh my goodness,
he is
just reading and playing them like a piano. I think it's safe to say, Tetcher, that was an astounding amount of damage coming in. A triple kill in the end there, if you count Johanna in as well, who had just respawned. And the only good thing for KT at this moment is that they were still in control of those shrines. So it's probably not going to be a Dragon Knight immediately. But man, in those fights up to this point, the Kharazim is seeing 0 value, and the damage just isn't there for them to keep BTG at bay.
Timeless looking for the delay. He's going to run into LLK once again. He knows how this went last time. One quick shield glare to try and interrupt, but it's too slow to get back in. As we see a Nubarak picking up the first Protector. Oh, I'm on the wrong map in my brain. On the first Dragon Knight of the game.
I can't blame you. We still have images of that Protector in our minds, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Dragon Knight, still a powderable map objective. Kiaru tries his best to actually stay alive. He takes so much damage, though, with those slows and the Phoenix value. That was the entire essence he had accumulated, and he took even more damage in the process.
The pressure continues to be blasted. Cube slow onto Lotus, but he's able to pull back. He even just grabs a quick fountain on the way and trades out efficiently onto Dancing, actually. But he had to use the fountain to get that efficient trade.
Exactly, and I think it's just a question of time until the fountain in the bottom lane and that last remaining tower are going to fall here. Loktar, he knows something isn't quite right. But KT is very patient. They're not going to make this trap spring yet. He actually suspected them to be in the bottom bush. But look at KT. They realize, you know what? Even if we landed a good combo with a tongue, we probably wouldn't be able to kill him. Uh-oh.
Noob comes in, a beautiful engage, double slows with the plasma cutter from LLK, but a good drag for the attempt to turn around and save a huge amount of damage, and Phoenix gets wrecked. Fantastic turnaround. TWT turns on Loktar and gets taken out as well.
Yeah, and make it a double. I think Beyond the Game maybe overestimated their power a little bit here. And the moment, like, I have to give a lot of slack here to the Phoenix player, unfortunately, because the moment the Earth ally goes down, you're going to have to be either destroying it or retreat, because you can't hope to just power through it without, you know, destroying it. So much physical damage reduction onto those basic attacks. And also, they got a little too greedy there, fighting too close to the base of KT and not respecting the individual class that KT still has, even after crushing defeat in Game 1.
So then, TWT backs up. He's just wrapping around the safe way. Doesn't want to get himself caught out. Moves up to rejoin his team. Good drag onto the Blaze, and that's actually going to be another kill going over to KT. I'm starting to get deja vu, Kendrick.
Yeah, this is definitely looking like a strong performance right now for the KT team here. They find those openings, they punish those positioning mistakes that Beyond the Game has made several times right now. They still have a minimal lead and they still have heroic abilities, but the bunker couldn't have even been used there because of the silence still going on from the isolation.
Damage being thrown into this top lane by KT. This is once again one of the least efficient lanes to push, because it's impossible to actually, or near impossible to actually end the game through it. But in this case, any structure is a good structure. Lotus gets cocooned. Oh no.
All right, this cocoon still needs a little while, but I think he's so far all by himself.
Don't make Hanzo. Oh, they woke Hanzo. Oh no. Down he goes.
Brutal. Quite savage indeed. But yeah. Normally, that's one of those moments in which, if you're not 100% sure where the enemy team members are, you cannot hope to get away with these reckless plays. But since they had perfect vision on the top lane, right, and they realized that the majority of KT was still pushing there themselves, they tried to go for that really reckless maneuver, and they were awarded with a success there this time around.
So then, what are we going to see for the push in bot lane? Do we see the continued aggression? That's going to be an easy fort for BTG. Without burning too much else. 14 seconds till the cocoon. Nicely done. Isolation, though, is a little bit better. The Lornado interrupts the Kiaru, though, who's looking for the drag. Gets it onto Raider, but he's going to eat a salvo for it. But they're tanking through it. No slows applied pre that salvo, so the damage is not that high, but it's enough to force the disengage.
Now, ever since Anubarak was introduced to the Nexus, he has lost many things. But he hasn't lost his Unstoppable during the Burrow Charge, which is amazing. He did lose the Invincibility window, though, which used to be a part of his kit. But dodging the Dragon's Arrow with a sexy Burrow Charge just like that, we don't get to see that all day, every day. So well played by 619, and he's not done making plays just yet. Drops the Cocoon, tries to stay sticky to the range targets of KT. They get a double kill, BTG, and this couldn't have gone at a worse time here for KT because the Dragon Knight is about to be unleashed.
Oh, good job by Lotus. TWT is not so lucky. They couldn't stay around to give it someone to dash to because of the slows from Blaze, so they have to let him die. As this DK just smashes through mid-fort as if it's not even there and moves down to bot lane.
All right, how much value can Beyond the Game squeeze out of that Dragon Knight? They're trying to go for the most value lane, which is the bottom, of course, with that triple mercenary value potentially. They're trying to soften the defenses here. 3 seconds until Karazim arrives. Dragon Knight is still pretty healthy, 69%. Trying to melt down that keep in time. Yeah. Minions have arrived. Reinforcements are there. They're going to get it.
Push it in. Focusing onto that keep. Like you said, keep is definitely going to go down. My question is the core going to go down? Because if they catch someone right now, that Dragon Knight's still got 20 seconds on it. 54% health. If KT overextend right now, then they can maybe turn this. Timeless is now very separated from the team. Good bless shield. That will probably be enough to force the disengage unless a noob can land and engage. Oh, that's a big commitment. Good disintegrate, though. And a lovely WTWT. But Dahaka rotates in. Dragon Arrow this time lands on 2 members. They fully engage Bunker. Being dodged in and out of by Lockdown, who can eat all the 7-sided strike, but he tanks through. Once again, using the bunker for the disengage. They turn onto Bad in the backline. They've found Timeless. He's used Iron Skin. Salvo! Take that, Dahaka. He goes down. And with that double kill, BTG move on to the core.
They move on to the core. Hanzo still available. Karazim, Li Ming. Those are some good DPS tools they could use here. All they need is 1 kill for the Li Ming to get the resets. We've seen crazier core defenses in our lives, but I think this one might be a little bit too much. Look at Raynor. Look at Phoenix unloading all their damage onto the core, and it looks like Beyond the Game has done it. They take a 3-pointer home. KT, with that one struggle in the bottom lane, gave it away on the game.
BTG, they take a huge lead to the top of the table with that 4-point lead over SPT, the one team that was closing in on them. That has got to be a weight off their chest. It is still possible for them to be overtaken, but it's a really big deal that they were able to take that 2-0 then.
And it was all enabled with that beautiful Lornado coming in from Decker Kane there towards the end. You know, locking people down, preventing them from running away to safety. From start to finish, I think it was a nice game by Beyond the Game. Much cleaner than game number 1 there towards the late game. But I can't help but feel that KT got a little too reckless there, a little too eager to brawl all the time when they could have maybe stabilized without doing so.
And well, with that victory, this is why it is so important for why this victory was so important for BTG, because like we said, they are now in the lead. They were even more in the lead, but people are catching up to them. The reason this is so important that they have this buffer, this 4-point buffer, is because in the next 2 days, BTG still have to play the 1 and Super Perfect team. Both of those games, in fact, are tomorrow. They also have to play Team Nut. Team Nut might actually be able to sneak their way up as well if they continue going on this upwards trajectory. But tomorrow's games for BTG is a rough schedule.
So BTG against the 1 in SPT, you say, Tetra, tomorrow. You would have to be a fool not to watch that. Is that not true?
I mean, let me sell it to you more then. If you think that you'd be a fool not to watch that. The games for tomorrow, the A team versus RPG. Both teams looking a little inconsistent. That could be a belter. The 1 also don't have the easiest day. They get CE first and then BTG second later on in the day. And then, of course, the rival of legends. Back when SBT was so dominant, there were 2 teams that could even take maps off them. And those were CE and RPG. And SBT play against RPG tomorrow as well. Then we have CEA team, the aforementioned BTG the 1, Team Nut versus KT, the battle for the bottoms, and then we have SBT BTG to end the day.
I mean, that is the downside, sorry, the upside of not having any of the top teams clash today. We're going to get everything tomorrow, and it's probably going to be one of the longest broadcast days yet, because we're going to have 7 series instead of the usual 6. But boy, oh boy, are we going to have a packed schedule for tomorrow. As Tetris said, it's going to be amazing. And then, as if that wasn't enough already, we're going to have another 7 series day on Wednesday to bring you even more action.